Ready?
Ready.
Welcome. Another episode of
No Filter, Just Sold.
No Filter, Just Sold. You missed the most Jersey thing I've ever said before. We're the, are we?
Are we? And then, wait a minute, I gotta go get some hairspray.
And then I went to my car to get hairspray because
Oh,
also I carry a can of
Yes.
hairspray in my car.
yeah. I carry multiple. We're in multiple bags.
So this is a very Jersey moment for us.
Yeah.
Even though we're coming to you from the beautiful park right outside of Mercer Museum and Fonthill Castle here in Doylestown.
Yes.
Because for some reason we thought this would be a funny spot to tell you some spooky stories of real estate.
Yeah, we thought
No,
this
it
was.
is. It's
Yeah,
historic.
it is.
Yeah.
We also thought about a graveyard, but we'll save that for Halloween.
Yeah. So, what you got for us today,
All right.
Vanessa?
So we were talking earlier, kind of swapping our scary stories. So
Yeah.
the ultimate thing to remember about the stories we're going to share is that they all end well.
Yes.
But in the moment,
Feels very scary.
very scary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll share one
Mm-hmm.
from early on in my career. I was working with a colleague, and he had an investment property he was redoing and didn't want to work with the buyers that he knew, so he gave me the buyers to work with them. So we all knew each other really well.
Yeah.
That's part of the key of this, what made it so scary.
Yeah. It's almost worse.
Yeah. So he was the listing agent as well as the owner of the property, and he had been doing a lot of upgrading to the property, renovations, etc. As the buyers went under contract, they started wanting to make some changes
Mm-hmm.
to some of the flooring options, the tile options, which they were given. And then it got a little testy
It happens.
because I think the seller thought his tastes were being questioned in a way, I think. I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And they hadn't been under contract with him for a few months. They wanted it to get to a certain point in the renovation and then they would go under contract. So we just went under contract. Over the weekend, there was kind of like a weird exchange about flooring and pricing.
It's always the weirdest little stuff.
It was really not a big deal.
Yeah.
And the buyers who I was working with got a little put off and questioned something. And because it was the weekend, they were going to drop the deposit off on Monday. Technically, it should have been in by Sunday, but they were dropping it off Monday on their way to work. He knew that. We got the clear okay. They're going to drop it off on their way to work. And I woke up to a termination email that Monday morning that the seller decided deposit was late. And we are no longer under contract.
Terrible.
So that was like my heart stopped.
Yeah.
I was like,
Especially as a newer
seeing
agent.
stars. I was scared. I was
Yeah.
scared and then I had to call my clients and tell them.
Right.
So first I was scared just because I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because I was a
Right.
newer agent. And then having to call them and what was their response going to be? And were they going to be mad at me? Did I do something? So I was scared, but then they were really
That is
scared.
spooky.
Because not only
That's scary.
were we
Yeah.
in this position, but they were moving from California. They had already sold their place in
so
California.
upsetting.
They were living in an apartment for months already, renting until this place was done. So scary. Everybody freaks out. They get an attorney. They get a letter to send and the seller wouldn't relinquish. Said nope, you breached the contract. You didn't have the deposit in. I'm like, and then they got so pissed that they were like, well, we don't want to deal with this guy. We don't want his house.
So it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
We're moving on. Yeah.
But the moral of the story is I kept my composure. I figured it out. I talked to my broker. I talked to other colleagues just to help me get myself grounded. And in less than a week, we got them under contract in a house that they liked even better.
Wow.
And
See, it always works out.
It all worked out.
It all works out in the end. Something you might remember this, but I love to ask people, especially my coaching clients, what did you learn from that transaction? What's one takeaway from that transaction?
One takeaway was to follow the letter of a contract regardless if somebody on the other side said you can get it the next morning, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because people can turn on a dime, and at the end of the day, the contract is what matters.
Yes.
So he technically had the right to terminate. regardless of the verbal exchange that we probably had. It was probably a text, yes, drop it off
Was
Monday
it in
morning.
writing? You could have fought it.
Yeah. So that was
The
one
contract
big
is your Bible, your Quran, whatever. It's the be all end all. Follow the contract.
Yep. Yeah.
Excellent.
So that would be a big takeaway.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got for me, girl?
I have a spooky story from 2 weeks ago. So this just goes to show, you know, I've been in business for 10 years now, and every transaction is different. I've never had one transaction that has been the same.
Right.
And transactions can be very quiet and the most perfect, beautiful situation until they're not.
Correct.
And it's learning how to navigate. So a couple of weeks ago, I was selling a property in New Jersey, and as you know, Jersey's another animal.
Another animal.
And my client, who's meticulous, I mean, really a dream client, thought he had the proper permits on his shed and his fence. And it is no fault to him, because the fencing company that he had hired 5-6 years ago said they were going to file the permit. So this really was a we thought a non-issue.
Trust professionals to do what they say they're going to do.
And then just a calamity of errors happened. In this particular township, the buyer side's responsible for ordering a survey to be done on the property. For whatever reason, they dropped the ball on that, and the survey was ordered late. So everything's pushed to week of closing. We get a rush on the survey. Survey comes in. The shed is 6 inches too close to the property line. 6 inches too close to the property line. Okay, we'll figure that out. There's also no permit for the fence. That's the bigger issue. I drove to, everybody's freaking out. I drove to the township building, because the township and I were emailing, and I'm like, this is insufficient, I gotta go there.
Yeah.
So I went there. I think at first they were a little put off by me, but I was like, I'm not leaving until we solve this problem.
Yeah.
I was not being mean, but I'm not leaving.
Do
I
it.
pulled out the jersey.
Yeah, gotta do it.
And long story longer, my client had to take down the fence the day before closing. We took a fence down, put the fence in the garage, sent pictures to the township to prove that the fence had been removed. I filed the necessary paperwork for the permitting for the fence. We took the shed down completely. Gone. Poof. Made it disappear.
Unbelievable.
This is all the day before closing. And if we didn't have it completed by 5 o'clock that day.
Well, because you know they're off work at 5.
They're off work at 5.
Yeah.
If we didn't have it completed by 5 o'clock that day, we were not closing.
Yeah.
And not only were we not closing, we didn't know when we would be closing. The buyers were up against the clock with their mortgage. They were supposed to be moving out of their apartment that weekend. They had a little baby. It was just like a calamity of errors.
Yeah. Scary.
In the end, we got it done, and it was very gratifying at the closing table to hear the attorney from the other side say, "I don't know how you pulled this off."
Yeah.
And I
there
said,
you go. That's a win.
That was the win for me.
Yeah.
But more so is just that when things get spooky, you really have to keep your calm when everybody else, like Rome is burning and everybody else is freaking out, and I might be freaking out inside, but I had to keep my calm and just figure out a way to solve the problem.
Yeah. I think that
was spooky.
That's the moral of it, is we're the professionals. And like you said, we have seen a lot of things. No transaction's ever the same. The simplest transaction can have some really random thing happen at the last minute. I'm never relaxed until everything's signed and done.
100%.
Like, I just had a nice transaction this morning, but there was still one little hiccup.
Right. There's always going to be something. That's the real takeaway.
That is.
There is always going to be something.
Yep.
Don't expect complete smooth sailing.
No.
There will be something.
No. And that's too, you know, and I know you do it. I do it. I prepare my clients for that. We're going to do everything we can. But at the 8th hour, sometimes things come up. We'll get it. We'll handle it. But just know that it's not done until it's done.
Yeah.
And just be ready.
And we'll find a way.
Yeah.
And it always works out.
It always works
you
out.
guys. It always works out.
It does. It does. It does. Because everybody wants it to work.
Yeah.
So everybody will come together and figure out how to make it. Even your municipalities.
Yeah, they do.
As frustrating as they can be, they generally want to help you resolve it too.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our spooky stories for today. We could go on and on and on. We won't bore you.
Yeah.
But
we hope you enjoyed this segment.
Yes. We hoped you got something from this.
I was thinking for next week.
Yeah.
Because this is fresh on my mind.
Yes.
Is listen to your mom, but listen to your realtor.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I know why that's fresh on your mind.
The importance of listening to the advice given.
Yeah. Good one. Okay.
All right. Have a great week,
Have
everybody.
A great week.